Welcome back, folks. This is Basir Pirzada, your real estate broker and your mortgage loan officer, one-stop shop, all in one. So today was a great day, lots of information to share with you. The CPI inflation report came out. The CPI inflation report better than expectations. Inflation came back at 2.7% over a 12-month period, kind of 0.2% over versus June for the month of July, but still better than expectations. However, if you take out the core inflation, which is the PC inflation, which comprises of energy and food, the inflation came back at 3.1%, which is higher than June. So that's a little concerning. There's talk in the media that maybe we should start looking at the 3% goal for inflation in the long run, unlike the 2% goal that the Federal Reserve has been chasing for so many decades. So that's obviously something to watch. One thing that's keeping the inflation low at 2.7% is primarily energy inflation because, as you know, the energy has been kind of steady. So that has prevented the inflation from getting out of hand. So that's what's helping keep the inflation low at 2.7%. There's talk that with the September 16th and 17th meeting coming up for the Federal Reserve, this inflation at 2.7% staying steady versus June has caused the probability of Federal Reserve to drop interest rates from 4.25 to 4.5 range down by a 0.25% basis points to 4.0 to 4.25, so a drop of 0.25% at the September meeting. The probability of that taking place now has gone from 84% to 95%. So that's a huge jump. There's some people that are actively advocating that the Federal Reserve must lower the interest rates at the September meeting. And one of the leading voices is Ms. Michelle Bowman. She is the vice chairperson for the Federal Reserve. She is actively advocating that the Federal Reserve should drop a quarter basis points at the September meeting. She was also the dissenting voice at the July 30th meeting when she and one other Federal Reserve governor, 2 out of 11, disagreed with the rest of the 9 governors, stating that July 30th was the time to reduce interest rates because inflation had been keeping steady, but they were the dissenting voice, not the majority voice. So Chairman Powell was able to keep the interest rate steady. But now those voices are getting louder. JP Morgan CEO is also joining the chorus, saying that the interest rates need to come down at the September 16th meeting. There is some other realities, political realities that are taking place behind the scenes, is that Jerome Powell is retiring. Trump has not made a secret of his dislike for Jerome Powell's stand on not lowering interest rates. Miss Michelle Bowman is actively seeking the position of the Federal Reserve Chairman. So her advocacy of lowering the interest rates at the September meeting, she's actually advocating that Federal Reserve should drop interest rate 3 times between now and December. There's a political angle to that, knowing that Mr. Trump wants interest rates to be dropped aggressively, and Ms. Michelle Bowman, who seeks the job of the Federal Reserve Chairman, is actively advocating what President Trump is asking for. There's a political angle to it. There's a few other people inside Federal Reserve who are seeking that position once Jerome Powell retires. They're also beginning to talk about a lowering of interest rates. There are some people who want that position who are outside of the Federal Reserve, like the chairman of the FHA. He's a billionaire. His name skips my mind right now, but he's also advocating interest rates to be dropped. So we'll see these people who are advocating interest rates to be dropped at the September meeting, how successful they are. The probability of the Federal Reserve lowering the interest rates at the September meeting has gone up to 95%. Mr. Trump's favorite to replace Jerome Powell is a gentleman named Mr. E.J. Antoni. Mr. E.J. Antoni has a really interesting stand on the jobs report, which comes out every month. And Mr. Antoni says that when he becomes the Federal Reserve Chairman, if he gets elected or selected for that position or appointed to that position, that he's going to advocate for the jobs report to come out once a quarter instead of monthly. That would mean that the Federal Reserve would not have to deal with this monthly jobs report as part of their decision making. They would only have to worry about it once a quarter. That would obviously there'd be a lot more numbers to process if it only comes out once a quarter. So those are the news so far. As more news becomes available, we'll bring to you. Once again, please like, share, subscribe, and we will see how the final decision comes out on September 16th and the 13th. But once again, people are advocating for 3 interest rate cuts. For those of the folks who have been on the sidelines, hoping that they'll buy a house or real estate once the interest rates go down, which is good. There's some positive news coming your way, but please keep in mind, once the interest rates go down, several hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Americans will be able to qualify for the mortgage that they cannot qualify for right now because they're really right on the fence. So when that quarter basis point interest rate goes down, all of those millions of Americans who are on the fence, they'll jump into the buyer's market, and that will drive the prices up. So it's give or take 0.25% basis points going down, but at the flip side, prices are going to go up. So if you can afford to buy a house, buy it now. Once again, like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned.